Welcome back to the Anachroschism. When we left off, it was pretty much the same as just before the last session, which is to say the party is currently split up. Half of them, thereabouts, are in Willowdale. Half of them are at Sheepstop Hollow, the home of Grail's family, doing farm chores. So, we resume the following morning with everybody having gone to bed in some form or another, with the group in Willowdale. Everybody sleeps pretty well. Karash, you stay up probably later than you intend to, just catching up with your mother and just enjoying the fact that she's around, that anybody of your kind stuck around for a decent amount of time, but you eventually do get to sleep and you find that you are still well rested despite the fact that you stayed up a little late. Tessian, you still have Thea with you, so rest is enjoyable.
Or does Thea have me with her?
No.
No.
Okay.
You're a main character, she's an NPC, therefore you get listed first. It's not a sexism thing, it's just you're more important than her.
Super sexist.
Let's hope we don't get to the point where you're not. Because it'll probably mean that you're dead.
Oh, dang.
That's the only way she gets to be more important than you.
So in this scenario, does she just carry my urn around?
Yeah, she's the pallbearer and you're the Undertaker. Yeah.
Oh.
Don't worry about it. Nobody gets that but me. It's fine. So
Wrestling everybody.
You guys
Wrestling.
awaken well rested in the inn there. And unless you guys have anything particularly you want to do in the morning.
Play catch up with Mom some more?
No one cares about your mom.
Wow.
That's not true.
Yeah, I'm gonna play catch up with Thea. Yeah.
I'm going to not do that at all. I'm just going to pack the wagon because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to the next town. I kind of want to get back to, like, Grail and Lena. Because I'm like, I think it's fine. But when we last left, a mechanical bull almost gored her father. So I want to, like, do this and get back.
Okay.
Seemingly uncharacteristically, I am going to drag my feet like an 8-year-old boy who really doesn't want to go to church. I make no effort at all to like pack any of my crap up. I'm unequivocally making an obvious effort to stall so I don't have to leave.
Tessian's probably going about his day as usual, grabbing some breakfast, getting ready to move on. He's not in a big hurry either, but it's got to happen. So,
Karash, do you want some help packing your things?
I will get to it shortly.
Well, just let me know if you'd like some help. And
Yes, I will ask.
we're doing good here. We're going to find more of your people. You're making the right decision.
Of course.
Okay,
That is,
good.
Yes.
Good. And I just good as I walk out the door and down the hall.
One of the things that Isaac and Tessian, you guys notice as you're kind of milling about getting things packed away and just having breakfast downstairs and whatnot, is that the female halfling who was in the competition yesterday is also in the area and seems to be sitting at a table and seems to be waiting for someone.
Oh no.
And since it's not the two of you and doesn't seem to be anybody else in the area, you can kind of put two and two together on who it might be.
She's a loser. I don't want to talk to her anymore.
Wow.
But
Just keep it to herself. She doesn't even really acknowledge the two of you as you're going, to and from your rooms and getting stuff in the wagon and whatnot. And even just from a quick glance at her disposition, she doesn't seem especially off-put. She's just kind of there, waiting, keeping her eyes trained on the area where most of the rooms come and go from.
so Thea is not coming with us to the next town, or she is, and that's where we're leaving.
This is the last leg of
That's
the
what I
trip
thought.
for her, yeah.
And what's the town's name?
Glen Kogo.
So
what do we know about Glen Kogo? Tessian will ask, actually.
Okay, wait for me because I was going to ask you, the two of you, what we can expect in Glen Kogo.
It's a fantastic question, Isaac. Let's ask around.
Oh, you don't. You don't
I don't know
Tessian.
what does Tessie know? I suppose it sounds like a small town. So
Tessian, you can make a history check with disadvantage. Isaac, you can make a history check.
I guess the question is, Chris, do we know why she wants to leave from Glen Kogo?
Because it's the furthest north. She talked about that when you guys set it off.
Oh,
It was a
just-
compromise
it's
because she's
location.
headed north. She rolled a natural 1 on her history check. She at least knows of the city, but apparently she's not remembering very well this morning.
12.
Yeah, this was sort of the compromise. It was going this way with you guys was a little bit out of her way rather than just going directly north because you guys went northeast and are not going to go northwest effectively. But all of it was in a northern direction, which is why she decided it'd be fine to accompany you.
7.
So there's nothing else about the city in particular that lends itself to that. What was yours, Jason?
12.
12. Despite the fact that you live somewhat in the area, Isaac, there's not a ton that comes to mind for you because it's not a place you ever visited. You have heard of it. You know it's maybe the size of Denard, bigger than Willowdale, certainly smaller than like a Falstock. It's a decent-sized town. Tessian, from your heavy reading, you seem to remember something along the lines of it's a town known primarily for financial things. They offer services for people, and they have the appropriate personnel to protect people's belongings. They have an entire, almost like a safety deposit box system, as it were, set up there. But there's not a whole lot else about it that really comes to mind.
Tessie will mention it then. Well, I must admit I don't know much, but they are known for their banking and storage. They're out of the way and properly staffed to support such a thing. There aren't many places in Aramir that could handle that sort of thing, but they can do it. Other than that, I'm afraid I've never been.
Cool.
So, Karash, you fill another couple hours in the morning, just basically going through a whole chronology of what your mother's been up to, and she occasionally steers it back to you to see what you've been doing, although, a lot of that time is just spent on a ship. But she wants as many details as possible in between getting peppered by your questions. But even she eventually picks up on the fact that you're stalling, because, moms. And she says, in Draconic, she says, well, as much as I hate to do so, it's almost getting to be afternoon at this point. Isn't it time that you should be leaving?
I should be, but I'm hesitant to leave you. I've been so long since I have seen you.
She says, well, I do understand the feeling, but has to happen eventually, and at least this time, I firmly believe we'll see each other again very soon. It won't be a repeat of what last time.
Did you wish to say goodbye to my companions before we leave?
I would like that, yes.
All right, I'll grab up my crap and lead her out then.
Okay. As you make your way down to the lobby area, as it were, you too see a somewhat familiar-looking female halfling whose eyes are trained on you specifically as you walk into the room.
Do I get any threatening vibes off of her? Or is she cool?
Make a perception check.
Shit. Ooh, 19.
19. You are familiar with this type of person, if for no other reason than your time on the sea, which is to say, she looks as though she has a bit of beef, but you notice this kind of smirk that sort of just kind of takes the edge off of it to the point where you're like, she's probably still a little bitter about yesterday, but she's not taking it personal, but she's clearly come here to say something to you, so you should prepare for some kind of mouth off. But it's not there's not any malice or anything. It just kind of looks like somebody who has something to say and has been waiting for the opportunity.
I'm gonna gesture to my mom, kind of like, hold on a second, I got a thing I got to take care of. And I'm going to walk up to the little halfling friend and greetings, tiny worthy foe. And I'm going to reach out my hand for the overly macho handshake again.
Which she returns, and that kind of smirk turns into more of a full-blown smile. There's still a bit of smirkiness to it, but it's, this is not a full bit of happiness, but she's kind of like, this guy. She says,
What?
Yes, it's good to see you again. I just wanted to stop by and congratulate you again. You seemed a little busy last night, but I'll still take you up on that drink you offered. It's a little early for me, but what the hell?
I will buy your drink, but I must go. I have companions waiting for me.
Convenient.
Damn straight. I believe that you are the new champion of the town now. However, I am leaving, as is my mother.
So, I still managed to win, but I don't get a prize, and now I have to stick around and come back next year. That's a hell of a thing.
There was a prize?
I guess you haven't seen this. That's true.
Nope.
Yeah, I was going to say, someone in your
And
group
I didn't
did.
care about it anyway, so.
Right. She says, well, there was supposed to be some small sum of money to the winner, but in any case, I mostly kid. I just wanted to say it was, even though it hurt my pride a little bit in the moment, it was, I don't know. There was some sport in getting tricked by my own trick. So, well done.
Forgive me. I do not remember your name. I had a very difficult evening.
She kind of does like the whole like two-finger kind of like head off thing, and she says, Ellen Gare, I don't blame you for not remembering me. A lot of people don't. Comes with the stature.
It is not your stature. It is my mother. I have not seen her in many years. But thank you, Ellen. It was very nice to have met you, and hopefully I will meet you again someday. But for today, and I'm going to just reach into my pocket, and I'm going to pull out, like, I don't know, like 10 gold and put it on the table. You drink well today.
Holy shit! 10 gold?
The prize, if I'm not mistaken, was like 100 and something gold. Am I wrong?
What was
You'll
it?
you'll never know.
Yeah, I was
I,
say, party accountant would have to tell you that one.
I probably won't ever know or care, but
She's
still.
like, I could buy drinks or a house.
That's exactly. I'll just buy Karash. Now you have to stay. She's a little wide-eyed at the sum, and she kind of just questions you. She's like, "Are you sure?"
Does that not buy good alcohol in this town?
She says, "Well, it'll be more than enough. I'll tell you that much. But I'm appreciative, and I'll tell you what. I hope our paths do cross again, Karash."
Do you live around here?
She says, "I don't know if I have any one place I call home. I'm more of a drifter than anything. This is a place I come back to a couple times a year, but if nothing else, maybe I'll see you around. I appreciate it, though, and I don't want to keep you if you have things with your mother."
I do, but thank you very much. It was very nice to have met you. If I hear of you again, do you have an occupation besides champion of small towns?
She kind of chuckles at that. She says, I suppose some folks might call me a grifter. I am not really good at anything except tricking people, but sometimes that pays well. Sometimes it doesn't. Depends on how good I am at doing the tricking.
Well, if I ever need a tricker, I will try to find you again.
She gives you one more predator handshake. And then very eagerly scoops up the gold and immediately makes a beeline for the bar.
Cool.
And as you head off, you can hear her ordering what sounds like something expensive because there's multiple drinks in it.
the, the Blue Island iced tea.
Yeah, she's going for the Dom Perignon.
All right, I'm gonna take Mom outside. What was the prize?
You're asking her.
Mom, yeah.
She says, well, when I won it last year, it was some amount of gold pieces. I suspect it was supposed to be something the same this time.
Like a lot of gold pieces? What? Or a lot of gold?
It was 50 or 60, I think, something like that. Basically a portion of anybody who wanted to contribute, because it's a whole spectacle for the town, and for a lot of people, even if they don't want to participate, it's entertainment of a sort.
I think I owe that halfling more money.
Well, it was nice of you to give her anything, really, considering you beat her. I think you're fine.
Fair enough.
You guys head out to the wagon, where presumably Isaac and Tessian are.
Yep, we got everything ready. We're GTG.
And Thea.
Oh, finally. Are you ready to go, Karash?
Yes. I don't know why you would think I was not ready.
Maybe because you took the entire morning.
I'm going to start loading my stuff and ignoring you, clearly.
And it is going on like 10:30, 11 o'clock now, so it's a bit late to be setting out as far as your group is typically concerned.
Tessia does want to say, go to Crash's mom and, give her the draconian handshake and be like, it was a pleasure to meet you, and I hope our paths can cross again. And like I said, feel free to stop by Black Harbor and let my mother know what has happened, and perhaps she can give you a place to stay for a while if you need it.
It was nice to meet you as well. Please take care of Karash for me. And thank you again for the letter. She says this in common, which is why it's more stilted.
Yep. And Tessia's like, of course. I do nothing less. As he watches our back, we'll watch his.
She looks over at Karash just to kind of see what his face looks like.
I'm very, very clearly Dragonborn level emotional at this point.
Okay.
Just to say, she can tell, but it'd be a little bit weird for other people to notice. Yeah, okay, in Draconic, goodbye, mother. I love you.
Aww.
She comes over and gives you a big hug.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, especially now seeing them sort of side by side. You can sort of tell in the tug of war situation, but then when she was pulled down so quickly, it was harder to tell. But now that they're embracing, she is a little bit bigger than Karash. And Karash obviously is a decent size, bigger than anybody else in the group. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, she's. She kind of gives you the whole squeeze around the back and lifts you up a little bit,
Oh,
standard.
ow.
Yeah, it is not. It's a way to crack the back in a way you weren't really expecting.
All right. I'm gonna immediately go to the back of the cart and sit down and pretend I'm not going to weep like a tiny child as soon as we're out of sight of Mom.
Okay. Kava wishes the group safe travels and sends you on your merry way to the northwest. Unless there's anything else anybody needs to take care of before you go.
I mean, we're good on supplies, and we're not even going that far, so we should be good to go.
Yeah, just a few hours trip here, so not too bad. Let's head back to the ranch. Y'all awaken after a pretty full night's sleep, considering you each had to take a shift of watch, and one of you doesn't really truly sleep, but can, but fine, whatever. The phraseology is still the same. You're well rested. And bright and early, and Lena, you find even at this point that after a couple days here, and just with the way this whole setup is going, that you also awaken right about 5 o'clock or so as the sun is coming up. And again, you feel fine, but you're like, oh, I guess I'm ready for chores then.
Yeah.
Grail, you're almost up even before that at that point, having gotten basically 4 hours of very good sleep after watch, and ready to tackle what the day has ahead of you.
Okay.
There's a simple but still filling breakfast waiting for you. And Millicent's down there, and she says, well, ladies, I would have you help Rollins again today, if you don't mind. I got a bit of mending to do. We got some clothes that need fixing and some other chores to do around the house that I may ask for some help with later, but the thing we need more than anything is for you to help your pa get some water from the well.
And I am probably shoving food in my mouth and just saying, like, yep, on it. Well, we're here to help. I'm happy to help Paul with whatever he needs today.
Okay. So eventually you guys finish eating. We have day 3 of chore montage coming, and for this particular one, he leads you out to about the eastern side of the property, and there's I mean, Grell, you already know this, but there's a well there that you guys can draw from, and you keep a smaller amount in a tank that's near the property for more day-to-day use. But he basically has a container on the back of the wagon that is hitched to the horses, and asks for Lena to help steer them over there because she seems to be good with them. So I'll have you make an animal handling check.
Okay.
Natural 1. All the water spills across the grass. Drought for this farm.
No, that'd be so bad.
Lena and Grail, eternally rivals.
23.
Okay, that's a much better than a 1.
Yes.
Rollins' trust in you is not misplaced, and he's able to kind of make sure the container stays in the back of the wagon while you steer the horses in that direction. You get there pretty quickly overall, just because, you're good at this by this point. You were already familiar with animals as it was, but now you're used to steering the thing. Like,
yeah. Like
that's kind of like your thing now.
I'll ask their names and pet them before I ride off.
Good. Make me come up with 2 horse names. That seems like a good thing to have the DM do.
Horse 1 and Horse 2.
Secretariat and Seattle Slough.
Oh, God.
Seabiscuit.
Well, did the horses name themselves, or did the horses go by whatever name that they were,
I would
given?
imagine that in horse language they have their own names, but they have other names hoisted upon them by humans who are selfish and think they can control horses.
Wow.
So, like, they probably have, like, majestic names like Fairbreeze and, like, Dawn Treader or some bull.
Yeah, but unfortunately you don't have speak with animals, so you don't know.
I don't know
Oh, I don't yet.
Kind of a druid are you?
Exactly. Get out of here. I will have the 2 of you make dexterity checks for helping your father with this whole transferring the water situation.
Just as part of the montage, I really, really, really want Lena in the process of all this to, like, straight out of the Rocky IV training montage, to lift a full-sized sheep over her head the way Rocky does the horse cart.
And then to reach in, and then she goes back to her room, and then she looks at herself in the mirror, and there's a picture of Whitworth Thorogood, and she grabs it and she crumples it.
That'd be great.
I got 23.
17.
Okay. Many hands make light work, especially when you guys are getting more and more familiar with this or reaccustomed to it. And with the 3 of you, because Rollins is a seasoned pro at this point, it takes even less time than you expected. It seems like this is a job that he could do by himself, but it would just take a lot longer. But with the 3 of you attacking it, you're able to get the montage done within like an hour and a half. Make quick work of it. You might even have time for a break as you have lunch now. Do any hijinks happen over the course of this? You guys have to fill in the montage for me because I don't want to make you do anything,
I don't know. I mean, given how our dex checks went, I think it's probably pretty fluid as far as I'm concerned. And I think I'll probably be kind of quiet as I do it.
Fluid.
Yeah, my check was solid too, so.
No hijinks. There it is, folks.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, I think I am kind of grappling with the fact, kind of like how Crash is with leaving his mom, that I will soon be leaving my family as well, and that's kind of sinking in as I'm kind of finishing up these chores and waiting for the rest of the group to get back. So I think there's just kind of a lot on my mind.
The difference is that when you grapple with it and when I grapple with it, we literally end up, my mother and I, grappling. So
Yeah.
Okay. What's nice about it, too, is like even though you are kind of thinking about that, it's still sort of this familiarity to it that it softens it a bit. It's a reminder of what you might be leaving soon, so it does sting a little bit, but at the same time, it's also like your folks are still leading regular lives. You know, even though you were worried about them overall, for the most part, they seem to be doing what you would expect them to be doing, which is getting by and enjoying the life that they have, even if it's a little more austere than it used to be. You're seeing a familiar side of your dad working through these things the last couple days that you didn't necessarily see when he first got back that night from, you know, being chased by a Gorgon. So it's good to see at the very least that both your parents seem to be settling back into their routines as well. You guys head back for lunch, and we'll check in with the traveling crew. Thea in particular, as you guys... Well, first of all, Thea had been driving, I think, the last time, right? Would you have her drive again?
Yeah, probably. She's the only one who has any talent with horses, isn't she? Animal handling?
Yeah, she was trained in animal handling, yeah.
Yeah.
17 and 4 is 21. Yeah, no problem there. Thea is having such an easy time sort of getting reacquainted with leading a cart with horses herself that she is sort of, and Karash, you kind of noticed this even without having to make a check. You notice she kind of keeps looking back at you to sort of check on you.
I want to teach Karash how to read again to take his mind off of his mom.
Okay.
So
I wouldn't say no.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure I would be interested in distracting the hell out of myself anyway. So
no rest for the weary, Karash. We're so close. I can feel you're about to turn a huge corner.
So intelligence checks from you both.
12.
Tussian's just going to keep Thea company because that's what he's doing. Yeah.
At some point in the course of it, I'm going to go, do you see something back here, Thea?
14.
Okay. We'll resolve that first. So the teaching goes relatively well, despite the fact that you can tell Karash's full heart isn't in it. The distraction does seem to be helping a bit. For the most part, he's able to focus and kind of pick up some things. Karash, you're getting to the point now where you have a grasp of the alphabet. Given time, you could put it together into words. Reading, say, a full page would probably take you, 5 or 6 times as long as a normal person because each word kind of takes its own rhythm and time to it. But it's at the point now where you could sort of say that you can read Common. It's not efficient, it's not proficient, but the string of letters at least makes sense to you, especially in the smaller words. There are some words where the bigger words where the letters come together and you know what all of them are, and you still don't know what it means because you don't know the word. But as a rule, you can effectively say that you can now read Common.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. I'm gonna get a little choked up at the idea that I can actually read words.
Aw.
What an emotional day for Karash.
And I realize
I'm already a wreck.
as well. And I'm down there with you, and I'm like, yes. And you're doing it. It's very exciting in the back of this carriage right now.
Doing it, Karash. You're doing it.
Doing it, Peter. You're pretending.
Oh, God.
So yeah, and Isaac, you can certainly pick up on that. By the end of it, you're like, now that I'm teaching him these things, all of a sudden you realize like he's picked it up. And again, it's not a full thing by any means, but he's got enough where you can put like a sentence in front of him and he can read it.
Thea and Tessian, I've realized I am a excellent teacher.
Yes. Many teachers I've met in my time, Isaac. Truly one of the best, most talented. Yes.
Thank you. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Honestly, you should probably just put the guns away. You've really found your calling.
We'll see. Maybe I can retire to a nice little countryside villa. Teach little Dragonborn how to read day in and day out. That would be the life.
We'll have to find the rest of them for that to happen first, but I like your goals.
That's true. What do you think about that, Karash? You little kids running around, being taught by Uncle Isaac.
My clan lives on islands, not in the country.
That's okay. We'll figure it out.
I don't know if I like the name Uncle Isaac, but I do think you've done good work with him.
It'll grow on you.
And Karash, you should be proud. This is a big step, and I bet it'll come in handy for you.
I am Dragonborn. I am very good at everything I try.
Is that the Dragonborn in you or the cord?
The cord is not in me.
Oh, I sometimes lose track with the different religions and what have you. It's not you are him, he is you, he is everything. It's not how cord works.
I don't think so. I do not know.
Maybe you could ask him next time. You two have a chat.
Okay.
Karash, are you sure you're all right? We're only an hour and a half or so away. If you wanted to change your mind, we could head back.
No. It would... No. My mother wishes to do what she needs to do, and I have many promises to keep.
Well, I'm glad you got to see her at least. It was, to be quite honest with you, it was really cool to see you interacting. It's something I have not had the chance to see very often.
What? You have seen my mother before?
No, just other Dragonborn, not of your clan. I also have to apologize because I did overhear some of your conversation before I left. I did not mean to intrude, but I could understand what you were saying for the beginning part.
I do not care. I do wish that she could come with us, but duty is duty, and that is how we are.
Your mother sounds like a very responsible woman, Karash, from what little I met of her. I think your clan is in good hands, even if she is not in charge. I think the future is something she has in mind, and I think she'll be a big help towards finding your people a new home, or returning to your old one, whichever they choose.
Of course, we are Mysterian. That is what we do.
It was good to see where you came from, Karash, even if just a little bit. I see where you get a lot of your strength.
Yes, mother is very strong. Father...
That's something you and I have a lot in common.
Your father is not a large man?
No, not particularly. And not particularly present either. My mother does most of the work, and she's well suited for it.
Your mother runs your family's affairs?
Well, not the day-to-day things. She's got an entire city to run, but yes, to one degree or another.
I did not know that. Everyone here seems to be so often towns and whatnot are run by men. I did not think that was normal on the mainland.
Well, there is the Empress, of course. It's not unheard of, but things are a little different in Black Harbor for a multitude of reasons. It wasn't always the case, but it is now. The women in my family, they run things.
Huh.
Here's what I think we should do, is find Utagen, get the leader secured, and then we can really start rebuilding the home that you lost, Karash.
Yes, that is part of my plan.
But
I do not know where she is, but I do not know where most people in my clan are, so...
I was going to ask if your mother had any leads on Utagen. Sounds like no.
She didn't, did she? No.
No. She
No.
mentioned that offhand because you've asked at one point, and she had not heard.
No, No, no one knows where she is for sure, and all we can do is keep searching and keep asking around for those of my clan, and hopefully someone will have seen her.
Agreed. And who knows? She could be in Glen Cogo.
That would be very helpful.
How convenient.
All the Dragon
Plot
Ball
device.
lining up in a row. We'll have Karash's side quest done by nightfall.
We're going to show up, and Unijin is going to be holding Bereav's head, and his body will be laying on the ground beside me, or her, and it will be like, oh, all done. Problem solved.
Yeah. You'll just walk into the next town. She'll have him up over her head, just smash him across her knee, break him in half.
And there'll be just hundreds of blue dragonborn standing around, being like, "Yeah, what's going on? We were waiting for you."
Yeah, that was sick. Cool. Great. Let's go home. And then we remove Mike from the game.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh.
You
How
guys
you know your DM wants to get rid of you?
When all of a sudden all your character moments start happening one by one, you know there's a problem.